Good morning, Wright State University, and welcome to the Wright Morning Show on WWSU. Start your day the right way with us. We will be covering current events in the news, local, national, and from Wright State. We will provide a daily dose of inspiration and positivity to lighten your day. And we will have a special feature depending on the day of the week. So grab your tea or your coffee, sit back, relax, and enjoy the Wright Morning Show. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Wright Morning Show on WWSU 106.9 FM. We are back after about a week of a hiatus to kind of flesh out some programming things and some logistics of the show. But we have returned, and we do have a slightly adjusted show time. So those of you who are fans of us, we are here now from 9 to 11 a.m. every weekday morning. So it's not 8 to 12 anymore. It's 9 to 11. I'm sorry, 10 to 12 was our previous show time. 9 to 11 is our new show time. I'm getting all my hours all mixed up. In the studio with me, I have Jamie from the Guardian Media Group. How are you doing this morning, Jamie? Can you get up to the microphone so we can hear you?
Yeah, sure.
There we
Hi,
go.
I'm doing very well. Thank you.
No problem. Thanks for being on the show. Also with us remotely, we have the Laughing Chipmunk. How are you doing this morning?
Good. I'm not really feeling all that good, but I'm here.
She is super quiet. Let me see what the issue is there. Laughing Chipmunk, you are super quiet on my end. I don't know if it's you or... Hang on one moment. Could you try to say something again?
Blah, blah, blah.
There we go. Now we can hear you. All right. Sorry about that. All right. I guess it was a device issue. I had the wrong audio device selected. We're still getting used to this new computer in the studio, so.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, it runs a lot better than the old computer did, but definitely some tweaks and stuff that we have to get used to. All right. So we're going to go ahead and start the Wright Morning Show with your current events on in the local area. So we're going to get our music here ready to go. Maybe. Adobe Audition, that's not what I wanted. I shall set that to a different device or a different media player. There we go. All right, so starting off your local news here from Dayton Daily News, 3 wrecks have killed a Dayton pair, injured a Beaver Creek motorcyclist, and damaged Fairborn veteran sites. You can read more about that at Dayton Daily News. I unfortunately cannot provide you that info because I do not have a subscription. From WDTN, I Love West Dayton to hold first annual music festival on Saturday. So if you want to get out there and enjoy some music, this would be the event for you. So WDTN says that I Love West Dayton is putting on its first annual West Dayton Summer Music Festival this weekend. Organizers said that the goal of the event is to promote a safe environment for all Daytonians, encourage community members to come out to the community to clean up throughout the summer, and expose the community to cultural arts through food trucks and vendors. The event will be held Saturday, June 5th from noon until 6 p.m. in the parking lot of Mount Enid Missionary Baptist Church, located at 1501 West 3rd Street. For more information, you could check it out. There's a link on WDTN's website. Also in the news today from WHIO, 2 people have been killed in a rollover crash on Stanley Avenue in Dayton, unfortunately. 2 Dayton residents were killed after a rollover crash on Stanley Avenue in Dayton early Sunday morning. Charlie Rourke, a 21-year-old woman, and Jane Laurent, a 28 58-year-old man were killed, the Montgomery County Coroner's Office said. Montgomery County Dispatch tells us that crews were sent to Stanley Avenue near the ramp to State Route 4 southbound just after 1 a.m. So, our hearts and condolences go out to the family of the crash. From WDTN, the city of Kettering is reporting its final phase of road work on Far Hills. The final phase of the paving project in Kettering on Far Hills Avenue will begin Monday, June 7th, according to a post made by the city. Crews are expected to work in the northbound curb lane of Far Hills at David Road, heading north. The street will remain open. However, drivers should prepare for delays and are encouraged to take alternate routes during peak hours. It will take about 2 weeks to complete the last phase of the project, which is expected to be finished by July. Continuing the news here. From Dayton.com, BMX Legend's first public appearance in 30 years happens in Dayton this weekend. So yet another event that you can attend this weekend. R.L. Osborne, BMX Hall of Famer, is heading to Dayton for the first time, appearing for 2 events this weekend. Osborne, 58, will attend a Ride Out bike rally tonight, June 4th. Oh, that was a few days ago. On June 5th, Osborne attended the Buckeye Vintage BMX Bike Show. I think this article was, they gave me the wrong date. That article was 3 days old. Continuing on, WDTN, 2 taken to the hospital after a 3-vehicle crash in Dayton. There's a video of this at WDTN. I think Dayton Daily News also covered it. From WHIO, Dayton Pride Parade and Festival was held this weekend. The Greater Dayton LGBT Center has hosted Dayton's Pride celebration. Festivities kicked off with Affair on the Square on Friday. The Affair on the Square was an evening of music and fun, with live bands and the Ruby Girls closing out the night, according to the organization website. The event took place at Courthouse Square in downtown Dayton and was free to the public. The organization says that masks were required. And following Affair on the Square, the Greater Dayton LGBT Center hosted the Reverse Parade on Saturday, where people were encouraged to decorate their cars. The Reverse Parade set off on 2nd Street and the intersection of Patterson Boulevard and continued down until Main Street. After the Reverse Parade, the Greater Dayton LGBT Center hosted its annual Pride Festival from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. on the Courthouse Square. They had 4 hours of live entertainment on the main stage, along with nearly 50 vendor booths, food booths, and more. West 3rd Street was temporarily closed between Main Street and Ludlow on Friday and Saturday during the hours of the festival and the parade, according to the Dayton Police Department. From Most Metro, it's our turn to support this amazing woman. In every city, there is a person who quietly puts together community events that benefit local charities, promotes artists, and build up others. In Dayton, that would be Mary Catherine Burnside. When I worked for AIDS Resource Center, now called Equitas Health, she was always volunteering her time to come up with creative ways to help us do the theme reveal party, coordinating models and costumes. She hosted art shows at the Oregon District store Clash Dayton and put together amazing fashion shows launching local designers and models. And now it's our turn to support her. Mary Catherine was diagnosed with breast cancer in January, and like so many entrepreneurs, she did not have insurance. She quickly racked up huge bills for testing and a double mastectomy. The community that has spent years nurturing her came together to launch a benefit auction with an opening at Circles Art Studio at Front Street on Friday from 5 to 10 p.m. So, pretty cool. And lots of really cool artwork over there, too. From WDTN, Hazel Baker holding Free Community Shred Day. That was on Saturday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. I'm getting a lot of old articles today for some reason. Staff at the home encouraged community members to bring up to 3 boxes of old documents to be shredded to prevent identity theft, clean out files, and promote a healthy environment through recycling. Baker Hazel has also matched monetary donations for the Lincoln Community Center's Legacy campaign and accepted non-perishable food items and school supplies for the Gray School Bus Community Outreach Program. From Springfield News Song, renamed annual Clark County Fatherhood Honor goes national. Urban Light Ministries is celebrating a decade of honoring local fathers and father figures by renaming and expanding its popular annual Fatherhood Award. Starting this year, the honor will be known as the Good Dad Award and has been expanded to include fathers and father figures everywhere through online nominations and not just locally. Family members and friends are encouraged to nominate an awesome father or father figure at no charge at urbanlight.org/Good Dad Award. Award winners will receive a free personalized printable certificate and congratulatory letter via email. With father absence being a global crisis, we take seriously our responsibility to go into all the world, said ULM founder and president Eli Williams. The internet enables us to expand our reach nationally and internationally. You can read more about that award at springfieldnewsung.com. From Dayton.com, Signature Levitt Summer Camp spotlights urban creative artists and art as well. Instilling an appreciation for urban creative arts through cross-genre expression is the artistic foundation of the free Signature Levitt Summer Camp to be held July 12th through 16th on the lawn of the Levitt Pavilion, 134 South Main Street in downtown Dayton. A first-ever collaboration between Signature Educational Solutions, Oral Funk Poetry Theater and Productions, and the Levitt Pavilion of Dayton. The camp encourages youth and young adults ages 14 to 21 to explore spoken word, creative writing, hip-hop writing, songwriting, music production, entrepreneurship, civic education, youth wellness, and more. Field trips will also be incorporated. The camp's theme is titled RE-Connect, or Reconnect, and events will culminate with the students presenting a showcase on Friday evening before Sarab and Honey and Blue take the Levitt stage. You can read more about this camp at Dayton.com. Continuing on our current events, from WHIO, police are investigating a Dayton shooting. Police were on the scene and told News Center 7 that no one was shot after shots were fired on the 100 block of Cambridge Avenue in Dayton. 2 suspects were apprehended by the police on scene. The initial report says that police were on scene of a reported shooting. Initial emergency scanner traffic reported a shooting on the 100 block of Cambridge Avenue just before 6:15 p.m. on Sunday. Regional dispatch confirmed reports of a shooting, and dispatch told law enforcement crews that crews were on the scene investigating the incident. News Center 7 is working to learn more. You could keep up to date on their website at WHIO.com. We're going to now go on to global and national news. Jamie, you had something from the New York Times that you wanted to share with us. So I'm going to take the mic over to you now. And those who want to, you could subscribe to the New York Times Morning Edition by going to their website, nytimes.com, I believe, or is it New York Times? Yeah, we'll worry about that later.
Yes,
I'll have to look it up.
So the New York Times put out a morning newsletter every single morning where they focus on a different piece of news that's happening globally and nationally. This morning they focused on the new COVID strand in Britain called Delta, which is causing COVID cases to rise in Britain and the UK.
Mm.
There are some concerns that this new strand will travel to the United States, but as of now, that is not the case.
Is this, are they saying that this is a very contagious strand, or do they not have enough information just yet on it?
Have to scroll down.
It's all right. I wonder if I could pull it up on my end here. Ah, yes, I do have it with me.
There is a current surge in Britain, but it is not as large as we have seen in the past.
Mm.
And the vaccinations that they are doing over there are effective against the new strand.
Yeah, so I'm looking at this chart here. According to the New York Times, the variant is not very dangerous. So there was a small increase in COVID cases, but it wasn't nearly as bad as the spike that Great Britain had in January, especially because of the vaccinations that people have received. All right. Let's see a couple of other things from the New York Times that are in the news as well. Senator Joe Manchin, Democrat of West Virginia, said he would not vote for a far-reaching voting rights bill, which will probably doom it. So we've had some talks or some news about voting bills, especially in Texas and Florida, and it doesn't look like those are going to come into effect. Democrats are at risk of losing more ground among minority voters without a stronger economic message. Three major Democratic interest groups are arguing. Europe had 5,400 offshore wind turbines. The U.S. has only 7. So the U.S., I'm going to kind of step back a little bit, but from what I've been reading, the U.S. has been very skeptical of using wind turbines as a source of renewable energy for a couple of reasons, and one being that wind turbines create noise pollution, supposedly, especially if they're near neighborhoods. And secondly, that some people argue that wind turbines can be pretty dangerous, especially if the brakes on the blades fail. And then they start, like in windy conditions, if the brakes fail, they spin very rapidly until they fall apart. And that could be dangerous, especially when metal shrapnel flies everywhere. But as far as I know, that's only happened a couple of times, from what I recall. Let's see here. An ICE program was was supposed to disrupt international drug trafficking. But it looks like they don't really give info as to whether or not it actually did. Europe has 5,400. Oops, sorry, I already read that. At least 32 people died after 2 trains collided in Pakistan, raising questions about the safety of rail travel there. Oof. Prince Henry and Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, has had their second child, Lilibet Diana. Interesting name. Banning protests and disqualifying political opponents, Nicaragua is close to becoming a one-party state. That's kind of concerning there. Fisher-Price is recalling a baby sleep product after it was linked to reports of 4 infant deaths. Ouch. There is a struggle inside the ACLU over whether to prioritize free speech or progressive principles. The boxing match between Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul yesterday ended without a winner. So that's pretty much what the New York Times has in store. Oh, there's a little bit of an article here about Dutch history. The Netherlands rarely grapple with its role in the global trade of enslaved people. A major museum in Amsterdam aims to change that with the opening of Slavery, an exhibit about Dutch colonial history. Actually, I believe I talked about this a couple of weeks ago on the show. Slavery was forbidden in the Netherlands, but it was legal in Dutch colonies. Mostly through huge trading companies, the Dutch enslaved more than 1 million people. The exhibit at the Rex Museum, which opened on Saturday, presents the history through 10 true stories about merchants, abolitionists, enslaved people, those who bought them, and others, and includes objects from the era like Rembrandt portraits. The Netherlands often celebrates its commercial history, and the exhibit tries to uncover a largely untold part of that past. It is a small and late step in the recognition of the sorrow that was done to hundreds of thousands of people in several continents. And that was from Tim Frane, written in Dutch Vice. We're going to go to Cheddar News now and talk a little bit more about things that are happening around the world. From USA Today, it was another weekend of deadly gun violence, unfortunately, across the country. In Miami, Florida, a shooting at a graduation party left 3 people dead and 6 others injured. Miami-Dade Police Director Freddie Ramirez said, "Every weekend, it's the same thing, and we've just got to band together." In New York City, a 10-year-old boy was shot while inside his home from a bullet fired outside. And in Chicago, gun violence killed at least 5 people and injured dozens more. West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin, which we mentioned from the New York Times, key to Democrats' control of the chamber, said he will not support his party's sweeping voting rights bill for the For the People Act, because it has no Republican support and won't help bring the country together. The 800-page bill would require states to expand mail-in voting and increase hours of operation at in-person polling sites. Manchin said he supports the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act instead, which has bipartisan support. Manchin wrote an op-ed in Charleston Gazette-Mail in which he also continues to push against Democrats' efforts to eliminate the filibuster. The G7 tax deal. This is something that has been a hot debate lately in the news over the weekend. This is from CNN. The G7 nations, that is US, UK, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, and Japan, have agreed to a major tax overhaul for international companies, a global minimum corporate tax of at least 15%, seen as a win for the Biden administration. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen is in London for the meeting, saying it could prevent American companies from shifting their profits overseas to avoid paying taxes. Also part of the agreement, global companies should pay taxes where they generate sales, not just where they have a physical presence. Some of the latest with COVID-19 from NPR. Amid a falling vaccination rate in the United States, biotech company Novavax plans to release a new COVID-19 vaccine this summer. Unlike the Moderna, Pfizer, and Johnson & Johnson vaccines, which contain directions for the creation of spike proteins, the Novavax jab will contain what is called a protein subunit. It already contains the virus's spike protein and will have added immune system protection. From the UK, British are facing a fresh COVID lockdown as the Delta variant spreads across Europe. Cases are up by 89% in just the past 2 weeks. Deaths have increased by 49%, and the new lockdown deadline caused a mass rush of British tourists to scramble home from Portugal over the weekend. From People, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry welcome their second child, Lily Diana Mountbatten Windsor, weighing 7 pounds 11 ounces. According to a statement, both mother and child are healthy and well and settling in at home. Lily is named after her great-grandmother, Her Majesty the Queen, whose family nickname is Lilibet. Her middle name, Diana, was chosen to honor her beloved late grandmother, the Princess of Wales. From Bitcoin, we've had a lot of talk about cryptocurrency the last few weeks, especially with the downfall of the stock market and cryptocurrency. At the Bitcoin conference in Miami, El Salvador President Nayib Bukele announced that he'll be proposing Bitcoin as legal tender in a piece of legislation he is sending to his legislative branch this week. Right now, the U.S. dollar is El Salvador's official currency, but Over one quarter of the country's citizens live in the U.S. They send back billions in remittances every year, so Bukele hopes to move to crypto and benefit low-income families by doing so. From Yahoo Sports, Merriweather versus Paul. Social media star and boxer Logan Paul went 8 rounds with boxing legend Floyd Mayweather Sunday night at Hard Rock Stadium in Las Vegas. The fight was an exhibition, so no winner was announced. Mayweather went long stretches without throwing a punch, and Paul landed a small handful of clean hits. Ultimately, the fight seemed to be more of a spectacle. The ring announcer summed it up well when introducing Logan before the match. He specializes in wrestling, boxing, and anything outrageous. We're going to talk about the French Open a little bit later when we do Major League Monday on the radio show. So continuing on, from The Guardian, not our Guardian, but the big Guardian paper, David Dutchman, the last surviving soldier who helped liberate the Nazi death camp at Auschwitz in 1945, has died at the age of 98. Dutchman was a Red Army soldier who used his Soviet tank to mow down the electric fence of Auschwitz. He said, "We hardly knew anything about Auschwitz, but he saw skeletons everywhere. They staggered out of the barracks, sat and lay among the dead. Terrible. We threw them all our canned food and immediately went on to hunt down the fascists." Of the 6 million Jews that were killed in the Holocaust, more than 1 million were murdered at Auschwitz-Birkenau. I think that will conclude our current events segment of the morning. Although when we come back, we're going to get into your current weather, and then we're going to talk about what's happening at Wright State University. So everybody stick around. You're listening to the Rat Morning Show on WWSU 106.9 FM.
Hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. Next, I put
on WWSU 106.9 FM. Welcome back to the Wright Morning Show on WWSU 106.9 FM. We're going to now go into your local weather forecast. The current weather, according to tomorrow.io at Wright State University, is drizzle. The temperature is 70 degrees. The wind is coming from the southwest at 3 miles per hour. The humidity is 89%. The visibility is about 8 miles, and the air quality is good. Your hyper-local 12-hour forecast calls for some drizzle and light rain up until 10:30 a.m. with temperatures hovering around the 70-degree mark. We're going to have a slight chance of rain up until 12:30, and then a greater chance of rain after that, with the heaviest being around 1:30 p.m. today up until 3 p.m. Then at 4 p.m., the rain's going to taper off a little bit, with another round of moderate rain coming in towards the evening hours around 8 p.m. Temperatures. The temperatures are going to be around the mid-70s by 11 a.m. It's going to rise to 76 by 1 p.m. It's going to cool off a little bit because of the rain at 2 p.m. And it's going to jump back up into the upper 70s this evening. High temperature is going to be around 80, I believe. Your extended weather forecast brought to you by the National Weather Service and Wright-Patterson Air Force Base is as follows. There is a special weather statement for some counties to the east of us. There's a lot of rain. There's like a big squall line of heavy rain headed towards Columbus right now. It pushed through us earlier this morning. So the forecast for today, showers likely, high around 80. Tonight, scattered thunderstorms developing with a low in the upper 60s. Tuesday, showers likely with a high in the lower 80s. Tuesday night, showers likely, low around 70. Wednesday, showers likely, high around 80. Wednesday night, more showers, low in the upper 60s. Thursday, more showers, high in the lower 80s. Thursday night, more showers, low in the upper 60s. Friday, more showers, high in the mid 80s. And then Friday night, more showers with a low in the upper 60s. When is the rain going to end? Unfortunately, not in the foreseeable future. Although we might have some sunny skies on Sunday from the looks of it. Maybe. That may change. So definitely a lot of wet weather this week. So be sure to have your umbrella on hand throughout the week. And now for some announcements from Wright State University. So the Master of Public Health virtual open houses will be tomorrow and the 22nd for the epidemiology. Are you ready to take a big step forward in your career or start a new one? Consider what a Wright State MBA might mean for your future and then join the MBA virtual open house on June the 15th. Do you want to write postcards to prospective students? The Wright State Alumni Association and Office of Admissions are inviting you to reach out to prospective students. You will be given postcards and a script to write to students considering attending Wright State. Become a disease detective next semester. Register for the Disease Detectives course, which is PPH 2200. The class size is limited. And that's pretty much it. There's not much going on right now on campus. So I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic now over to Jamie to talk about what's been happening with the Wright State Guardian Media Group. Take it away.
Hello. So I'm going to issue a trigger warning for the first article that I'm going to talk about, as it mentions sexual assault. So our first big headline today is that the Greene County Common Pleas Court has sentenced former Wright State University student Zachary J. Tona, who's 29 years old, after pleading guilty to 4 counts of rape. Convicted on 4 counts of rape, the 29-year-old former psychology student here will now serve at least 14 years in prison with a maximum sentence of 19 and a half years He'll also have to serve 5 years of supervision and is now a registered sex offender.
Oof.
In other news,
I'm glad that they got justice served, though.
yes,
Definitely.
most definitely. In other news, statistics indicate that illegal alcohol use on Wright State's campus is present but not exponential. Statistics and professional input at the Wright State University have indicated that the alcohol use on WSU's campus is present but not exponential. WSU has policies in place to curtail illegal activities related to alcohol use on campus. And these figures indicate that an average of 41 students per year have been held responsible for alcohol-related violations in the past 5 years. So, kind of good news.
It's not too bad. Yeah, definitely. Wright State's not really a party campus if you think about it. Like not like UD or Ohio State University or any of those people. So I can imagine, or schools rather. So I can imagine that alcohol use would be a little bit lower here.
Yes, most definitely. And in more positive news, vaccinated residential students are now permitted to have roommates in the fall semester. Wright State University recently announced that vaccinated students living within the dorms will be allowed to live with a roommate in double and triple style dorms beginning in fall 2021. Students requesting to live with a roommate in the woods for the fall 2021 semester will have that request honored so long as all parties involved are fully vaccinated by the start of the semester. If neither party is fully vaccinated, they will be placed in a single room with a shared bathroom, making them suite mates that are regularly tested for COVID-19 throughout the semester. So that is very exciting to get roommates back.
Yes, and also from what I know, Wright State is heading towards trying to lift their mandates, their COVID-19 mandates for fall semester as well. We don't have any word of whether or not that's actually going to happen, but they're wanting to lift some of the mandates.
Yes, and we should be hearing more about that in the coming weeks. I just want to cover one more thing on the Dayton main campus, and then I'll touch on a little bit of what is going on near the Lake campus. So another thing that is occurring on, or really rather near Wright State's campus, is that campus ministries will not require masks for fully vaccinated people. Now, Campus Ministries is the church located on Wright State's campus, but is not affiliated with Wright State. It takes ordinances from the Archdiocese of Cincinnati, so they are actually separate from the campus, but are surrounded by the campus, and they are loosening the COVID-19 restrictions.
Hmm.
And then in other news, for the Lake campus, there is a article section that we do called 419 Live, and it covers small businesses near Salina, Ohio, which is where the Wright State Lake campus is located. And this week we have an article about Joe Coffee and Company, which is run by Joe and Michelle Mitchell. And the coffee shop was opened in January 15th, 2020 in Coldwater, Ohio, and has an array of coffee, homemade salads, soup, sandwiches, and more to offer. So if you're ever near Coldwater, Ohio, you can go ahead and stop by Rooster Joe Coffee and Company.
At least in my opinion, and this does not reflect the views and opinions of WWSU or Wright State University. Local coffee from local business shops is the bomb. It is really good, and like food and things like that, it's so much better to buy from a local business than it is from a chain restaurant.
Oh, I completely agree. And we are always doing Dayton's Not Deads and 49 Alives, which are covering small businesses. So if you would like to, if you're looking for a good small business to go to and try the foods or try the products, you can go to the rightstateguardian.com and find all of our lovely articles on our local small businesses.
Very cool. It's out of curiosity, 419, is that the area code for Salina?
That is the area code for Salina.
Okay, so that's where they got that name from. Pretty cool. If you would like me to, I can turn it over to some news from the Wright State newsroom as well.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So there's a couple of articles that I am going to say for later because of Major League Monday. Specifically, we're going to talk about the Wright State softball team uh, and their unfortunate season ending in the NCAA tournament. So stay tuned for uh, Major League Monday today at 10:30 on the show, and we'll talk a little bit about that. However, let us start off with the Wright State University Foundation is welcoming new trustees. So Dave Deptula will serve as the chair of the foundation's board. This is in effect as of July 1st, 2021. We are honored to welcome these outstanding business and community leaders from the Dayton region and beyond, said Scott Rash, president and CEO of the Wright State University Foundation. We appreciate their willingness to volunteer their time and talents to the Wright State Foundation Board of Trustees. They will provide outstanding service to the foundation, the university, and our students. So, Anupam Bedi is a two-time graduate of Wright State University with a Bachelor of Science and Master of Science in Biomedical Engineering. Bedi has become a leader in the healthcare and medical fields, blending his technical knowledge of the industries with his understanding of strategic planning to lead businesses to successful outcomes. He founded his own firm, Ondine Advisory, after spending more than 2 decades honing his skills in the corporate world. Badi is also a serial entrepreneur and connected with several new technology ventures. Emily Bundesen is a graduate student of Wright State's College of Liberal Arts, where she is pursuing a master's degree in public administration. Bundesen graduated from Wright State in May 2020 with a bachelor's degree in business management and a certificate in human resources. She currently serves as a graduate assistant for the Wright State Alumni Association and the Office of Annual Giving. Bundesen will be one of 2 Wright State students serving on the Foundation Board of Trustees. Michael Daniels recently retired from the Pittsburgh-based Oxford Development Company, where he led their commercial real estate brokerage division for more than 37 years. He is currently vice president of the Board of Trustees for the Amyotrophic Lateral Sclerosis, or ALS Association of Western Pennsylvania, and secretary of the Pittsburgh Public Theater Board of Trustees. Daniel also serves on the board of the Three Rivers Arts Festival. He provides oversight of the M. Patrick Daniels Fund at the Pittsburgh Foundation, which honors the memory of his late son, Patrick, a 2000 graduate of Wright State. Jacob O'Connor is a junior at Wright State, where he is pursuing a bachelor's degree in communication. At Wright State, he has served as an orientation leader for incoming students. He also worked as a student retention associate, helping students set up appointments with their retention officer and checking in with students weekly on their well-being. O'Connor hopes to pursue a master's degree in public history, and he aspires to work in the nonprofit sector. Mark Porter is a 2-time graduate of Wright State with a Bachelor of Science and Master of Science in Chemistry. He is currently a distinguished professor at the University of Utah, where he is a member of the Chemical Engineering, Chemistry, and Pathology departments. Porter is also director of the Nano Institute of Utah, which integrates researchers across Utah and the surrounding region into core research focus areas to address emerging questions in human health, energy, and the environment. John Remy is a 1995 graduate of Wright State with a bachelor's degree in financial services. As a member of the Wright State men's basketball team, he was instrumental in the Raiders' win over Xavier in the 1995 Midwestern Collegiate Conference Tournament quarterfinals. Remy currently serves as a managing director and market head in the Indy market at UBS Financial Services. For the next 2 years, the Wright State University Foundation Board of Trustees will be led by Dave Deptula, who will serve as the chair. Deptula, who graduated from Wright State in 1980 with a bachelor's degree in accountancy, has served on the foundation board since 2014. He was instrumental in creating the foundation's Students First Fund, which provides grant money for projects at the Dayton Lake campuses that support student success, recruitment, retention, and community and campus relationships. I look forward to leading a diverse and talented board, said Deptula. We plan to grow and expand the foundation resources to more fully assist students from the Dayton region and beyond to obtain an affordable, quality education. Deptula, who is the CPA and licensed attorney, credits Wright State for laying the groundwork for his long and successful career. My education at Wright State prepared me extremely well for my continued legal education and professional career thereafter, said Deptula, who's vice president for legal and special projects at Dayton Freight Lines Incorporated. Quite frankly, I would not be where I am today without that quality that Wright State education has given me and the many caring and dedicated faculty who helped me along the way. I am so pleased to have this opportunity to give back by serving as chair of the foundation. So, pretty cool there. We're going to kind of go outside of the Wright State newsroom just for a moment here because ABC News wrote a cybersecurity article with regards to Wright State. So ABC News had this to say. What often begins as an employee clicking a seemingly innocuous link in their email can result in a crisis that brings multi-billion-dollar businesses to their knees, stokes geopolitical tensions, and has ripple effects throughout the global economy. A recent spate of ransomware attacks has crippled critical American infrastructure, disrupted major food supply chains, and revealed that no firm, big or small, is safe from insidious cyber attacks. Ransomware strikes have surged over the past year due to a confluence of factors, experts say, including the rise of hard-to-trace cryptocurrency, a work-from-home boom that has resulted in new IT vulnerabilities and a political climate marked by ongoing tensions between the U.S. and Russia, the nation from which many of these attacks are believed to emanate. The recent attack on Colonel Pipeline, operators of one of the United States' largest fuel conduits, also showed that victims are forced to decide between paying criminals their ransom demands or being unable to operate their businesses. The cyber attack led to a multi-day shutdown for the pipeline that provides nearly half of all fuel consumed on the East Coast. As a result, panic buying pushed gas prices to their highest levels in 7 years, just ahead of Memorial Day weekend travel. Ultimately, Colonel Pipeline made the decision to pay a ransom of $4.4 million in cryptocurrency to DarkSide, the Eastern European criminal organization that the FBI said is behind the attack. This decision was not made lightly, the company told ABC News in a statement, but said it was one that had to be made. Tens of millions of Americans rely on Colonel. Hospitals, emergency medical services, law enforcement agencies, fire departments, airports, truck drivers, and the traveling public, the Georgia headquarter firm added. Our focus remains on continued operations to safely deliver refined products to communities we serve. Just a few weeks later, as some analysts still mulled over whether the payout has set a bad precedent, the world's largest meat processor, JBS, was hit by a cyber assault involving ransomware. JBS revealed that it had been the target of an organized cybersecurity attack that a White House spokesperson confirmed involved a ransom demand from a criminal organization likely based in Russia. You could read more about this at ABC News. However, what we want to talk about in relations to Wright State University is the ransomware as a service refers to a business model where ransomware variants are leased to cyber criminals. And then that means the number of people who can do it effectively has grown significantly. Stamos said. So let's see here. Ready-made software and utilities exist on the so-called dark web that a tech-savvy user could access to bring a company's productivity to a standstill, according to Dr. Vikram Sethi, a professor, cybersecurity researcher, and the former director of the Institute of Defense Studies and Education at Wright State University. The phenomena of working from home has created a new generation of hackers and miscreants who are using their time to do this, Sethi said. The time is there, the opportunity is there. The number of software and tools that are being readily made available on open sites that people can download and use has risen dramatically, he added. So you can read more about this story. There's a lot more that we unfortunately don't have time to cover. You could go to abcnews.com. Specifically, Wright State Newsroom had this to say about the article. Ransomware as a service they just had an excerpt, basically what I just read. I thought it was a comment. My bad. Continuing on, I believe we mentioned a couple of weeks ago, Wright State has received a financial ratings upgrade, which is good news for Wright State University, especially considering all of the difficulties that they have faced within the past few years. We've had the financial reserves being drained. We had the AAUP WSU chapter strike in 2019, and we almost had a Teamsters 957 strike in 2020. So Wright State has seen better days and are seeing better days now. So that's some good news that they're moving up in terms of their finances. The Dayton Business Journal had an article about President Sue Edwards on how Wright State is positioning itself for the future. In many regards, 2020 was a year filled with milestones for Wright State University. The university secured millions in federal research dollars, scored high marks in national rankings, and began developing its first new college in more than 30 years. Still, the last several years have been tumultuous for the Fairborn-based school. A budget crisis, declining enrollment, and pending faculty cuts have put the university in a tough position. To ensure long-term viability, Wright State needs to right-size. There likely isn't a one-step solution to balance the budget and reverse enrollment trends, but there are key strategies Wright State is implementing to build a sustainable foundation. More than 80% of its graduates live and work in the Dayton region, and President Sue Edwards wants that number to grow. That means developing programming and forging partnerships that align with local employees' needs. So that involves healthcare partnerships, tapping into the the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, which Wright State has invested more than $64 million in research and development, and half of those dollars went towards engineering, and nearly all of it involved some degree of collaboration with the Air Force Base. So you can read more about this and what Sue Edwards' plan of action and vision was and is at bizjournals.com. So, Jamie, I'm going to take it over to you a little bit. Just a little bit of free-form discussion for the last few minutes of the hour. What's the latest happenings at the Wright State Guardian Media Group? Like any new projects or things that the media group have been working on?
Yeah, so we're working on a few exciting things. I know we are working on developing our multimedia capabilities in studio more. We are also trying to expand our team a little bit more, where we're trying to find, web designers and just all different types of people to work at the media group. So if you're interested, you could always apply on our website. Applications close July 2nd there. And yeah, we are just continuing to cover Wright State and local events.
Very cool. Definitely take that opportunity. You don't have to be a mass communication major to be a part of any of the media groups here on campus. And it's really good resume experience too. A lot of people who go through the Guardian Media Group as well as WWSU Radio end up at jobs affiliated with Cox Media Group, for instance. Like a lot of people at the Guardian Media Group end up at Dayton Daily News and places like that. A lot of people here at the radio station end up at WDTN or ESPN, places like that. So it's a really exciting opportunity, and so definitely take advantage of that if you're thinking about getting into the media field. I know, unfortunately, the radio station does not have any open positions, but definitely take advantage of the ones at the Guardian Media Group if you're interested in getting involved. All right, we're going to go ahead and take our top of the hour ID break. I need to rest my voice a little bit. When we come back, we're going to get into our daily dose of inspiration. And then after that, we're going to get into Major League Monday and talk about the latest happenings in the sports world. So you're listening to The Right Morning Show on WWSU 106.9 FM. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Doing Bella? Oh, excuse me one second. I flipped on the wrong microphone. Say that again.
I'm amazing, Pat. How are you?
I'm hanging in there. Um, all right, so we're going to go ahead and get into. I haven't done a guided meditation on the show in a couple of weeks, so I think for today's daily dose of inspiration, we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of a guided meditation. Um, so Jessica Mori leads a meditation to help us connect with our own goodness. We're going to be talking about loving kindness. That's what this meditation focuses on. When we're anchored in feelings of love and gratitude, we can bring loving kindness and compassion with us out into the world. So I'm going to read through the steps, and then after I read through the steps, we're going to go ahead and actually do it. So I'm going to read the steps first so that you get an idea of what we're going to do today. So first off, we're going to be taking a moment to listen to our body. Is there anything that you can adjust? Is there anything that you could soften or invite to soften? Secondly, we're going to allow ourselves to surrender to gravity. So surrender and connect with the feeling of being supported, whether that would be with the chair that is beneath you or the ground under you or the earth. The third step, we're going to bring our hand onto our body, uh, whether that would be onto our chest or our heart or somewhere else. We're going to let our hands be a source of soothing and kind support. The next step is we're going to take a few breaths and allow ourselves to feel the support and kindness from just the touch of that hand and wish ourselves well. The next step is we're going to repeat the phrases loving kindness and love and self-compassion. Wow, I can't talk today. There's a few phrases and few mantras that we're going to be doing. And then we're going to repeat one word or phrase while remaining connected with our physical body. It's up to us to choose what word it is. Some word that brings us comfort and brings us support. And then that's weird. I think this is a typo in the article. When yourself overflowing with these feelings of love and gratitude, you can begin to shift these feelings to someone else. Okay, I think I know what they're trying to say. So once we give ourselves that loving kindness and support, then we're going to extend that feeling off to our loved ones and people we care about in our lives and other people. And then as we wrap up the meditation, we're going to take the feeling of loving kindness and compassion as we go about into our day today. There is a version of this meditation that you can listen to at mindful.org. For copyright reasons, we're not going to play the one from mindful.org. We're going to actually do one here in the studio for all of you. But before we begin, I just wanted to ask the two of you, while I'm getting our music together and everything for the meditation, what does loving kindness mean to you personally?
Loving kindness is like very important in my life, and it just means being kind to yourself and self-care and self-love, and then like as the article mentioned, reflecting that onto others. You know, really looking at our fellow human beings as fellow human beings,
Hmm.
and respecting them, and resolving judgment, and just being good and kind and loving and grateful.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%, especially self-care. I think often we forget to do that and we more focus on others and how they're feeling. But it's also good for ourselves and to help others, to make them feel loved and be kind to them, especially if you don't know them, you don't know how they're feeling.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And a lot of us some of us may think we know how somebody is feeling, but it's really hard. We can put on masks a lot, and we often do put on masks on our outside, so people can't really tell how we're really feeling on the inside. for various reasons. So we're going to go now and go ahead and get into our meditation. So we're going to go ahead and start our nice peaceful music. Oh, I do want to make a couple of disclaimers before we begin the meditation that if you are driving or operating machinery, you may want to either pull to a safe place on the road and listen, or to change to another station. We do not recommend listening to this meditation while you are in potentially dangerous situations, because we don't want you to end up hurting yourself in any way, shape, or form. With that being said, go ahead and find yourself a comfortable place, free from distractions if possible. This could be your bedroom. This could be an office space with the door closed. This could be outside even, if the rain suits you. I know it does for some people. And as we enter into that meditative space, just take a nice, deep, slow inhale through the nose. And out through the mouth. In through the nose. And out through the mouth. In through the nose. And out through the mouth. With every inhale, you bring in peace and tranquility. With every exhale, you let go of tension and anxiety. Feel yourself enter your meditation space. Calm, relaxing, and peaceful. Bring your focus to your body. Without judgment, notice any sensations that you feel. Do you feel tension anywhere? Or soreness? Is there a part of your body that needs softened and relaxed? And now, bring your focus to the gravity that surrounds you. Focus on the chair or the seat that supports you. Focus on the ground beneath you. Give thanks that gravity is supporting you and keeping you from drifting to the abyss. And now bring your awareness to one of your hands. And just let your hand go to wherever it needs to go on your body that needs support. This could be your chest, it could be your heart, maybe even a leg or a shoulder. Wherever you need to give yourself love and compassion right now. And as you rest your hand there, take another deep, slow breath through your nose. And out through the mouth. Allowing yourself to feel the support and the kindness from your hand. Take a moment to think about all of the qualities that you love about yourself. You could alternatively place your eyes and your mind into the focus of a loved one and see yourself as them, through them. Take the next minute or two to just focus on your own goodness. All of these strengths and the qualities and traits you bring into this world. Now take a moment to repeat these affirmations, either to yourself, or you could do it out loud if you prefer. May I be happy just as I am. May my body be healthy and strong. I love myself completely. Bring your focus and awareness to a word or phrase that brings you comfort and strength. Notice how your physical body feels as you repeat this word or phrase to yourself. Feel yourself soaking up the well wishes you give yourself. Washing every cell of your body with happiness and peace. And now bring to your awareness somebody who is close to you, someone you care about greatly. And as you feel their presence with you, extend the well wishes, the happiness, and the peace onto them. And repeat these affirmations for them. May you be happy just as I am. May your body be healthy and strong. I love you completely. And now bring your focus back to your breath as you take a nice, deep, slow inhale. And exhale. Slowly bringing your awareness back to the room that you are in. Hearing the sounds that are around you. Smelling the aromas that are around you. Feeling the space that you are in. Feeling the chair, the seat, or the ground beneath you. Seeing the light that surrounds you. And as you continue throughout the day today, take these feelings of loving kindness and compassion as you go about your day and extend them to the people that you meet and the people you interact with. So, what did you all think of the meditation?
It was very relaxing to me. I feel like I need to do that more often.
Meditation is definitely something that I think we all need to do more often,
Yeah.
including myself. Yeah, there's a lot of benefits, especially to long-term meditation. We've talked about meditation a couple of times on the show, and if you're new to meditation, just starting out with 5 minutes a day is a really good start, and you might not notice the benefits, right away, because meditation is something you got to do on a regular basis before it really starts setting in and reducing your anxiety and really giving you the benefits.
Yeah.
So loving kindness, just out of curiosity, who came to mind when we did the part where we extended the feelings of loving kindness to other people? Yeah, you could go ahead, Jamie. I think Bella had to step out for a moment.
Yeah, so my sibling immediately came to mind when I thought of love and kindness because I'm very close to them. So yeah.
Very cool. I think for me, the person who came to my mind was my mother, which was interesting because my mom and I are pretty close. We see each other. She lives in West Virginia, but we see each other pretty much every couple of months or so. Actually, she should be with us. Laffy Chipmunk, are you with us? No, I don't think she is. She's connected, but she is. Oh, wait.
No,
There she is.
I'm falling
Oh my
asleep.
gosh.
Your meditation was so nice. I was like drifting off.
So, those
Oh,
of you who may not know, Laughing Chipmunk is my mother. So she comes on the show every now and then.
yep.
Laughing Chipmunk, who came to mind when we got to that point in the meditation?
I don't know. I was like too relaxed to even think.
That's, that's all right. Relaxation is good. But
Seriously, it was very nice, and I did not get that good of a sleep last night anyway.
yeah, same
And
here.
it's like, oh my gosh, I finally felt relaxed, and that was very nice.
Yeah, so those of you who enjoyed the meditation, if you want, you could check it out. It's on mindful.org, and it's called the 20-minute loving kindness meditation. It's written by Jessica Mori. Um, the date of the article is May 31st. There is an audio version that Jessica Mori had recorded that you can perform. It's about a 20-minute meditation. I did it a little bit shorter than she did, but you could definitely check it out if you enjoyed the meditation. There's also written instructions there as well. So get some loving kindness in your life. Do that meditation a few times every week, and see if you notice things like regrets and jealousy, and you know, see if you notice things that you're holding on to just kind of melt away and drift away after several sessions of the loving kindness meditation. All right, we got Bella back in the studio.
Yes. I was getting dropped off shirts that she found for me. Huh, they're amazing. Sorry. That was my meditation. Was that.
New shorts, nice.
Yes.
So who came to mind when we got to the point of envisioning somebody else and extending our well wishes onto them?
Oh, my mom. For sure.
Same here.
Yes, all the time.
Mothers are important in the world, very important, and they do a lot for us.
Oh, yeah. She's my best friend. After her doctor's appointment, we went to a spontaneous trip at the state park.
Oh wow.
And we stayed there for a night just to relax, and after stressful weeks, it was nice just to hang out with her.
Leffy Chipmunk, when you come into town later this month, maybe we should go to a park. There's an
Oh
idea for you.
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we'll go ahead and finish off our daily dose of inspiration with a chicken soup for the soul story before we go to break and move on to our Major League Monday. So this story is called Patched Together Positives. And it comes from Chicken Soup for the Soul, Making Me Time by John Zorns. Here's a quote from Nelson Henderson. The true meaning of life is to plant trees under whose shade you do not expect to sit. That is an interesting and very cool quote. I'm going to have to remember that. How many blankets do you have already? My husband asked that crisp February morning as we finished breakfast. A semi-retired teacher, he didn't have a substitute teaching job for the day. The highways were clear of the most recent snow, and he had cabin fever. The cure was a road trip that offered sightings of deer and bald eagles. Blankets. He also saw the day's open slate as an opportunity to drive to a hospital in an impoverished area about 70 miles away where I'd regularly donated baby blankets for families in need. 12, I replied. How soon can you hit the road? About 2 hours later, I walked into the obstetrics wing and handed the bags of blankets to an astonished charge nurse. I was down to my last blanket, she said, and I didn't know how I would get more. Then she and the other nurse opened the bags and admired every blanket. Afterward, as my husband and I shared a big bowl of chicken soup in the hospital cafeteria, we expressed awe over the trip's timing. A decade earlier, I'd started donating home-sewn baby blankets as part of my church's one-day community volunteer emphasis. Worship services were canceled, and we were to fan out and bless our town. Public places got weeded, graffiti was painted over, the elderly or shut-ins were helped with repairs or yard work, and the cars of single mothers were serviced. My asthma meant bypassing the dirty or outdoor jobs. I'm clumsy with a hammer and useless around car repairs. But I can sew, and I had learned that our local hospital could use about a dozen baby blankets a month to give the needy families. That fit the weekend's serving emphasis. A dozen would stretch my sewing skills, but I could assemble them over several days. When I delivered the completed blankets to the grateful nurses, something clicked inside. I enjoyed doing this, and I could do more. I never imagined that I would sew and donate 175 blankets over the first year, or that a decade later I would have delivered more than 1,200 blankets to several local hospitals and ministries. Creating something pretty and being in touch with appreciative people also became good medicine at a time when life events made me feel emotionally depleted. Friends and strangers began sharing from their sewing supplies, and I shopped thrift stores and yard sales for fabric and batting. At one yard sale, when I told the seller what I would do with her fabric, she replied, "Give me your phone number. I have more." Within a week, she delivered a heaping box of juvenile fabrics from her quilter stash. And when I asked how much I owed her, she said, "Nothing. I know you'll put it to good use." And that yielded 26 blankets. At another yard sale, the seller had more scrap fabric but needed time to gather it up. When she called a week later, I expected just a small trash bag of scraps. Instead, she hauled out several bulging garbage bags of big flannel scraps from her business of sewing pajama pants. She seemed unwell, and something told me to sew these as quickly as possible. Within a few weeks, I sent her a thank you note with a photo of 15 baby blankets made from her scraps. A few months later, I saw her obituary in the paper. She had died of cancer, unfortunately, perhaps aware when we met that she wouldn't live long. One day, a woman came by to buy a used bike from us. Learning she worked at a hospital where I donated blankets, I invited her to come in and see the blanket I was currently finishing. She not only bought the bike, but came back with a sack of fabric scraps for future blankets. One creative friend, planning a surprise party for my 65th birthday, turned into a future blankets event. She asked guests to bring baby-appropriate fabric or fabric score gift cards as my gifts. Before long, I started donating to other hospitals in adjacent counties that also had significant needy populations. Confidentiality rules meant I never knew who got the blankets, but I heard a few stories. One blanket became the comfort quilt for a very sick little boy taken by ambulance to a larger hospital 150 miles away. The blankets also went with newborns discharged to foster homes, some awaiting adoption, and others drug babies needing special care. One friend, an obstetrics nurse, shared in general terms about a woman who showed up at the hospital alone to deliver her 5th child. With no family member or friend to support her and hampered by a language barrier, the woman cried throughout labor and delivery. "I felt she needed special encouragement," my friend said, "so I gave her one of your blankets." My blankets were not fancy, just colorful and fun. 49 5-inch squares arranged 7 by 7, thin batting for the sandwich, and backed by flannel or a similar soft fabric. Each blanket took about 2 hours to make. Sometimes while sewing, I thought back to this project's genesis with my faith community and how they symbolized Isaiah chapter 61 verses 1, which says God can bind up the brokenhearted. And that was my hope, that these blankets created by binding up scraps of fabric would end up in homes of personal, social, or financial brokenness, with people who needed a caring touch. Eventually, arthritis in my hands slowed the sewing pace, but the blankets accomplished another purpose beyond wrapping somebody's baby. They helped affirm that I am a valued person and that what I do with my free time matters in a positive way. And so that is the Chicken Soup for the Soul story of the day. What do you think?
It was really like heartwarming to hear all of that because I know there are some people that have gone to the hospital by themselves. I think that's what hit me hardest is that she's on her fifth child and no one showed up for her.
Yeah, that is very heartbreaking to not have anybody show up for, a birth, one of the biggest moments in your life.
Yeah, I just thought that was sad, but it's good to know that there's still people like that out there that will help you with if they don't even know you.
Yeah. Jamie or Laughing Chipmunk, do you have anything you would like to say?
I just think that was absolutely beautiful. I was like tearing up. I was like, oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, these Chicken Soup for the Soul stories are really fun to read.
Yeah.
And if anybody is interested, if you want to get a daily or weekly digest of Chicken Soup for the Soul stories, you could go to the website at chickensoupforthesoul.com, and there's a link down at the bottom for I think it's called newsletter, if I'm not mistaken, or something similar to that nature. And they got a few different types of emails that you can receive. So I signed up for the daily story. So every day they send an inspirational story to your email. So definitely check that out if you're into inspirational stories. We are running over time, so we're going to go ahead and take a break. And when we come back, we're going to get into Major League Monday and talk about the latest happenings in the sports world. So you're listening to the Right Morning Show on WWSU 106.9 FM. Don't go anywhere. SU 106.9 FM. Welcome back to the Wright Morning Show on WWSU. It is time for Major League Monday. We're going to go ahead and first off talk about the boxing legend Floyd Merriweather, and Logan Paul. They went 8 rounds with each other in an exhibition match yesterday at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. There was no winner declared. A lot of people who bought the pay-per-view were bitterly angry because there were technical issues that prevented them from seeing it. Oof. That's a big oof right there. Merriweather went long stretches of the fight without throwing a punch. Paul landed but a handful of clean punches on Merriweather, who was one of the great defensive fighters in his day when he racked up a 50-0 record and world titles in 5 weight classes in a career that spanned from 1996 through 2017. He's got a lot of boxing behind him. Paul became famous for posting videos on YouTube. Ring announcer Jimmy Lennon inadvertently summarized what this was all about when introducing Paul before the fight. Paul Lennon, intoned solemnly, specializes in wrestling, boxing, and anything outrageous. And at the end of the day, what this was an outrageous money grab. It angered many boxing purists, but they got to see an outstanding middleweight fight on the undercard when Luis Arias outworked Jarrett Hurd and won a split decision. That bout was everything that Merriweather and Paul was not, but that was to be expected. Anyone over 13 who thought Paul had even a remote chance to defeat Merriweather never saw a real boxing match. As Merriweather told Yahoo Sports before the bout, he expected a spectacle. And while it depends on what your definition of spectacle is, it wasn't a total disaster. No one got hurt, no one was forced to buy it, and 2 boxers made millions. Will Showtime, which invested in this farcical boxing, make a profit? Well, that remains to be seen after the fight's revenues are counted. You can read more about that at Yahoo Sports. We're going to go to the French Open. Women first. From CNN, Serena Williams was stunned by Elena Rybakina, I hope I didn't butcher that last name, at the French Open. Serena Williams was surprisingly beaten by Elena Rybakina in 2 sets at the 39-year-old American, as the 39-year-old American exited the French Open at the last 16 stage on Sunday. Williams' defeat means her quest to equal Margaret Court's record of 24 Grand Slams continues. The American, who lost 6-3, 7-5 to Rybakina, had not made it past the 4th round on the clay that Roland Garros. Let me reread that. Hadn't made it past the 4th round on the clay at Roland Garros since 2016. She will now turn her attention to Wimbledon, the 3rd Grand Slam of the season, which is played on grass and starts on June 28th. I'm kind of excited to switch surfaces, but historically I have done pretty well on grass, said Williams, who is in a 7-time Wimbledon singles champion. I have done pretty well on clay too, just not this particular season. You can read more at CNN.com. We're going to move to the men now from ESPN. Roger Federer's withdrawal from French Open shows that he is focused on Wimbledon. When Roger Federer returned to the ATP Tour in Doha in March, having been out for 13 months following 2 knee operations, he made one thing clear. His goal was Wimbledon. At 39, the Swiss is focused on the place where he has the best chance of glory, the grass at Wimbledon, where short points and his unrivaled experience mean a 9th title is not out of the question. So when Federer announced on Sunday he withdrew from Roland Garros after first opening the door to that possibility in his news conference following his 3rd round win over Dominic Koepfer, it was no real surprise. After 2 knee surgeries and over a year of rehabilitation, it's important I listen to my body and make sure I don't push myself too quickly on my road to recovery, Federer said in a statement. I am thrilled to have gotten 3 matches under my belt. There is no greater feeling than being back on court. It is an undeniable blow, though. The 20-time Grand Slam champion is the ultimate draw, the man everyone wants to see. Because of his age, Federer has to be selfish at this stage of his career. And, it doesn't matter who you are. Safety first when it comes to sports. You definitely got to take care of yourself, and injuries are no joke in sports. So, good for him for taking care of himself. Shay is outside of the door now. Yep. What are you doing out there? Am I allowed to come in? Yeah, you could come in. I thought we had a max on people that could be in here. So I was going to have you take over the mic for me. Cool. All right, so we're going to go ahead and have Shay take over for the remainder of Major League Monday, because Shay has some breaking news in the sports world, specifically about especially the men's baseball season here at Wright State University and the results of their performance in the NCAA tournament. So, Shay, I'm going to go ahead and take it to you now.
All right, sounds good. What a Monday thing to have happen, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the baseball team went to the Knoxville Regional over the weekend. It was really, really exciting for them. They had Parker and I actually debated this. This might be the greatest, most talented baseball team Wright State's ever had. They faced off against number 3 Tennessee on Friday night. They actually played their tails off. They had an 8-5 lead going into the 9th inning. Unfortunately lost on a walk-off grand slam, but Tennessee is on their way to Super Regionals, which is the top 16 teams in the country, and nobody's given them a game like Wright State has this year. So that's a very cool milestone. And then on Saturday, they lost to Duke and got eliminated, but I think they're a better team than Duke, personally. I think what happened was, Friday's loss was just so devastating the way it happened that they weren't mentally locked in on Saturday, and that's a tough way to end the season, especially because there's a lot of really talented seniors on this team and a lot of really talented juniors that are about to go into professional baseball. But this is a team that had an unbelievable season. Quincy Hamilton, first-team All-American. Tyler Black's going to be a first-round pick in the MLB draft. Unbelievable pitching staff with Jake Strand, Austin Klein, Bradley Bremer. Just a ton of talent across the board. The best offense in the country statistically. This team's just getting started, and I'm excited to see them next year. But what happened in Knoxville obviously is going to stay in Knoxville because I don't want to drag that on. But a great year for the Wright State Raiders, the Raider gang, whatever you want to call them. They come up short in Knoxville, but they prove that they belong with some of the big teams across the country. Also in the sports world, I'm a Reds fan, so I'm going to brag about this for a second. But the Reds go on the road and sweep the St. Louis Cardinals, their arch rivals. First time they've swept the Cardinals in St. Louis since 1990, which is 9 years before I was born, and I'm old, so that's saying a lot. But the Reds played very well, which is something that I've only been able to say maybe 3 or 4 times in my lifetime. They look great. They pitched very well. Jesse Winker's the best player in the league. Hit 3 home runs yesterday, but he better be in the All-Star game. If he's not, the system is rigged. But Jesse Winker delivered, and it was a really great weekend for the Cincinnati Reds, which is something that if people asked me on Thursday and Friday how I felt heading into the weekend, I said that I was ready to get curb stomped because that's what always happens when the Reds play the Cardinals. But this was a little different, and I'm excited for it. But they now get today off. They earned a day off, and they're back at home tomorrow, where for the first time in 2 years they have full capacity. So I'm excited for that. It's been a long time coming, but hey, they weren't complete garbage this weekend, and that's very rare in Cincinnati. So I think I've told people in the past that the reason why I despise the Cardinals so much is because they're exactly like the Reds, except they win and the Reds lose. And that's what bugs me, is that the Cardinals are what the Reds could be if they decided to be competent, but they don't. So it's always refreshing to see the Cardinals lose to the Reds, especially in front of their home fans. Nothing warms my heart quite like that. So an early Christmas present for me, courtesy of the Cincinnati Reds. And so it was a pretty good weekend all around. I mean, the Raider gang balled out. I mean, obviously they didn't get to Super Regionals like we wanted to, but they looked very, very good against that Tennessee team. And then the Cincinnati Reds sweep the St. Louis Cardinals in St. Louis for the first time in 31 years. So pretty interesting weekend. In the sports world, also in the NBA playoffs, the Clippers beat the Dallas Mavericks in Game 7 of the Western Conference first round. Luka Doncic is an absolutely unbelievable athlete. He's only 6 months older than me. He scored 46 points with 14 assists. He deserves way better than what he has in Dallas right now. But only 22 years old. The future is so bright for Luka Doncic. But the Dallas Mavericks come up short. Kawhi Leonard and Paul George push the Clippers to the next round against the Utah Jazz. Franklin High School's own Dayton, Ohio boy Luke Kennard scores 11 off the bench for the LA Clippers. And really, he didn't play much in this series until Game 7, which is a little odd that the first action you get is in the winner-take-all elimination game. But Luke Kennard, he's been great ever since, his days at Franklin High School. So quick little story for those of you that don't know me. I went to Bellbrook High School, which is a rival of Franklin High School. We played Luke Kennard in the district championship game. He scored 57 points against us. So Luke Kennard is an absolute stud. I've had a friend play him in open gym as well, and he dunked all over him. So Luke Kennard, obviously in the NBA for a reason. But the Dayton, Ohio kid getting the job done, and it's really cool to see him get that contract in LA, and he's played really well for the Clippers. So now we have the second round of the playoffs set. The Hawks are playing the Sixers. The Hawks won Game 1 yesterday. The Brooklyn Nets and Milwaukee Bucks, play Game 2 tonight. The Nets won Game 1, but they don't have James Harden tonight for Game 2. We'll see how much that injury plays a factor. In the West, it's going to be Utah and the Clippers, and as well as the Phoenix Suns and the Denver Nuggets. Game 1 of that is tonight, and I am very, very excited for that because it's two up-and-coming young teams that we really haven't seen a whole lot of until this season. Phoenix just knocked out LeBron James and the Lakers, the defending champs, and Denver knocked out a very good Portland team with Damian Lillard. So this should be a really fun matchup. Nikola Jokic probably going to be the MVP of the league. He goes head-to-head with Devin Booker and Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton and a really talented Phoenix team. So I'm really excited for that. Also, Game 2 of Brooklyn and Milwaukee will be fun. Obviously, Kevin Durant versus Giannis Antetokounmpo. It's taken me 4 years to learn how to say Antetokounmpo on radio, by the way. But it's exciting. I mean, this is Parker and I were talking about this last week. I think what I've really enjoyed about this NBA playoffs is there's actually parity for the first time in 5 or 6 years, and it's that it's not just the Lakers or the Warriors or the Miami Heat or the Cleveland Cavaliers or whatever. Where it felt like over the last 8-9 years, it's really just been the same 3 or 4 teams that we kind of anticipated being there at the end. This year, I have no freaking clue who's going to get to the end. I didn't think the Hawks would be here. I didn't think the Suns would be here. The Nuggets, the Utah Jazz are the 1 seed for crying out loud. I didn't think that. So it's exciting that it's a little bit different. Only one thing stayed the same this year, and it's that Parker and I's favorite team, the Indiana Pacers, are still garbage. But other than that, everything's kind of mixed up a little bit. LeBron James out of the playoffs for the first time since 2005. Steph Curry didn't make the playoffs, obviously, so it's really different. Where guys like Giannis Antetokounmpo, guys like Luka Doncic, guys like Devin Booker, guys like Donovan Mitchell really get a chance to emerge as the second, the upcoming superstars of the NBA. So it's a very exciting time in NBA basketball. Last thing I wanted to touch on here today is just what a stellar weekend for NFL fans. Julio Jones traded to the Tennessee Titans in exchange for a second-round pick and a fourth-round pick. Julio Jones, obviously one of the most accomplished receivers in the NFL. Over the last decade, he makes his way up north from Atlanta to Nashville, and he teams up with one of the most talented young receivers in the NFL in A.J. Brown. So the Tennessee Titans got a lot better yesterday, and because of that, our sports director, Parker Testa, a diehard Colts fan, is very, very upset because the Titans just made the Colts' life a lot harder. But Julio Jones, now a Tennessee Titan, only 32 years old. He's coming off of a year where he was hurt, but before that, 7 consecutive years of being a first-team All-Pro. So I'm excited to see Julio Jones make his way up to Nashville and play his first season with the Titans this year. I think that's everything I've got. I mean, I came in here, I tried to drag as long as I could. I know it's 55, but
It's all right.
are you good? You ready to trade back?
Yeah, we can trade back.
All right. Well, I appreciate you having me on.
Well, back on basketball, since LeBron got kicked out, he can spend more time on Space Jam.
There you go. Do you think there will ever be a song that will beat Space Jam?
No,
I don't think so either.
there will not be. And then when she was talking about baseball, I was looking at baseball articles, and the first one that popped up was Major League Baseball, the dirtiest and dumbest American sport.
Oh my gosh. Really?
Saying how officials are now talking about cracking down on what some experts call an epidemic of pitchers doctoring baseballs. And then the pictures are just hilarious.
Oh
All
my
the
gosh.
umpires are mad. Oh my goodness.
Who did this? Who took a crap on Major League Baseball?
I know, they're just angry. And then that fight, the Logan Paul and Mayweather fight, God, I was so excited to watch it, but I fell asleep. And then I heard there was no winner, and I was all mad just to
Yeah.
see if Mayweather kicked Logan Paul's butt, but
No.
he didn't. So I'll just have to live with it for the rest of my life now of not knowing who won, this YouTuber or an all-star. Gosh.
Yeah. That was pretty interesting though that it ended in a draw. Especially since it was a YouTuber versus an all-star, as you said.
Yeah, I think Paul, he swung over 100 things, but only landed 43 of them.
Yeah.
And I was like, you already knew going into this, an all-star against a YouTuber. I mean, he is pretty buff. He weighed 188 pounds to Mayweather's 155. So you had more muscle coming into it, but the man knows his stuff.
Mm. All right. I think we're going to go ahead and start closing off the show here. We're going to do a final check of your weather. So the current weather at Wright State University, according to tomorrow.io, is cloudy. So we are getting a little bit of a break now in the rain, luckily. The temperature is 72 degrees. The wind is coming from the southeast at 6 miles per hour. The humidity is 90%, and the visibility is 8.5 miles. The hyperlocal forecast is showing cloudy skies with a little bit of chance of drizzle and light rain here and there throughout the day, but a majority of the rain has passed. So the heaviest of the rain is gone. It's over with, so you could be rest assured. Unfortunately, though, there is rain in the forecast for the rest of the week. So, according to the National Weather Service and Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, your local weather forecast for the week. Today, there will be showers with a chance of thunderstorms in the afternoon and the evening with a high around 80. Tonight, the thunderstorms continue with a low in the upper 60s. Tuesday, showers likely with a high in the lower 80s. Tuesday night, showers likely, low around 70. Wednesday, showers likely, high around 80. Wednesday night, showers likely, low in the upper 60s. Thursday, showers likely, high in the lower 80s. Thursday night, showers likely, low in the upper 60s. Friday, showers likely, high in the mid 80s. And then finally, Friday night, showers likely with a low in the upper 60s. So, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the show now. So I want to thank all of you for coming on to the Wright Morning Show and making us a part of your morning. And thank you, Bella. Thank you, Jamie. And thank you, Laughing Chipmunk, who is on Discord, for coming on the show as well this morning.
Well, thank you.
Do any of you want to give any shout outs or promotions before we head off?
I don't think I have any for today.
Jamie, do you want to plug the open applications again for the Guardian before we head off?
Yeah, the Guardian Media Group on Wright State's campus is hiring. We have a few positions available. Applications are due July 2nd. That is the last application date that we are holding. And yeah, we would love to see you apply and interview and love you to join our team. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, definitely check out the Guardian. They're a great group of people to work with. All right, so some shows that are coming up today on WWSU Radio that you may want to tune into. Shay, Neal, and Parker Testas. Testa and Neal, keep it real. Get the latest sports happenings around the country and Wright State University. That's going to be today, 1 to 3 p.m., both on YouTube and on the radio station. So be sure to check that out. And later tonight is DJ Distro, The Plug. All the best hip-hop and R&B. Be sure to check out his show tonight, 8 to 10 p.m. on WWSU Radio. And for us at the Wright Morning Show, we're here every weekday morning now from 9 to 11 a.m. on WWSU Radio. Tomorrow's going to be Trivia Tuesday, so get your thinking caps, get your friends and family together, and we're going to have a nice trivia competition at 10:30. So be sure to tune in for that. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. Want you to have a very productive, very happy, and a very joyous day today. And we'll see you back again tomorrow on the Wright Morning Show. Take care.